I'm Shane Dornell with Horse Show Wire. I'm here with Bob Funkhauser, Executive Editor of Saddle Horse Report. How are you, Bob?
Great, Shane. How about yourself?
Good,
Yeah.
good. Understand Saddle Horse is the host of the Silver. No, it's Justin's Lounge, right?
Justin's Lounge. Yeah,
Justin's
yeah,
Lounge.
yeah. New feature this year. Tony Lee's done a great job with, and we're pleased to be a part of it. We're going to offer open bar and desserts tonight, so everybody please join us at Justin's. Saddle Horse Report has been a part of the Morgan industry for 36 years now, actually. I've been coming to the Grand National for 30 years. Tim Dahl started us off in this coverage with the Morgan breed, did a great job, and then Diana Davidson and I, who actually both started in '83, she took over a lot of our Morgan coverage, became our Morgan editor, and I actually want to give a big shout out to Diana. She's been home nursing her, taking care of her mother, who's not been in great
Right.
shape lately, but I know everybody misses Diana here. Been a lot of questions asked about her this week.
Yeah, I'm
Everybody's
seeing
saying
her.
hi.
I'm used
Yeah.
to seeing her down at the end gate.
Yeah,
Get to
it's
talk
kind of
with her.
barren there
Yeah.
without Diana at the end gate.
Yeah.
So anyway, we really miss her, but she's actually home doing some writing coverage here, watching on the webcast, and staying upright with all of us and her friends, and giving us good direction on how to do the best coverage in the business that we can.
Right.
So we're looking.
She's down in Florida, right?
She's down in Florida,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Down at Beach, like I say, her mother there taking care of her. And shout out, but we're looking forward to the coverage again. We've been 36 years, been working with the Morgans, the Grand National, and love it. You know, when I first started this, it was you heard a lot about the family atmosphere of the Morgans group, and nothing could be truer. It's so good. Some of these folks I see once a year only out here, and it's like we never missed a beat.
Right.
You know, you catch up with their family and what they've been doing far beyond their horses. You know, it's truly a family atmosphere, and we love that at Saddle Horse Report as a family business. It just plays right into the Morgan breed and what goes on here, so we truly enjoy it.
And you also write articles for Saddle Horse Report, correct?
Yes, yep, do a lot of the coverage and articles, pictures, working on the advertising with the customers. It's kind of a do-it-all type situation.
Right.
But we enjoy keeping our hands full of every aspect.
Interesting article that you wrote, I believe it was last year, and it got a lot of talk at all the shows, was about the types of classes at the horse shows and the division of the breakdown of all the classes to get a blue ribbon.
Right.
Walk us through that again for the folks
that was a couple years ago, and it actually had been brewing in my mind. And you know, I grew up in the saddle horse business as a kid, and you see it evolve, and the times have changed, and so do we. But I've got to notice in a lot, especially the same level shows, we're what I think watering down our classes and splitting the division. And I know it's hard, and the trainers, you know, they want a place for all the customers, and sometimes you have several customers in one division. You like to have a place to split it up, but at a lot of levels, we were just seeing, you know, 2 and 3 horses in one division, 2 and 3 in another. I said, wouldn't that be a better class if they were combined? One, for the excitement of the general public, and two, to teach especially our kids how to ride and navigate a ring.
Right.
When they get to a show like the Morgan Grand National or Louisville, they've never been in a class with 15, 20 horses, and they look like deer in the headlights a lot of times.
Right.
So you know, I'm kind of old school and go back and, you know, you learn by riding. You learn by getting in there and competing, and you know, and what happens. But I think that we've lost some of that process, and by breaking some of these classes down. Now, there's some beginner shows where I think you do need that type of a class for everybody, a little more safety, really for the beginner type riders. But again, we're seeing it what I call our middle level, our upper level shows. We've just watered this down to the sessions are long, and if I brought a friend out to the horse show, they're asking me, well, why is there only 2 and 3 in there? And they're certainly not going to get incited to invest in this with their family or their money. But yet, if there's double-digit horses in there going head-to-head, even if they don't know what they're doing, they can see the competition and get excited about it. So that's where I think we need to look going into the future. Like our theme tonight, we're celebrating the past, and there's a lot, especially here this week, there's a lot to celebrate. Great horses, great riders, great trainers, but we've got to look to the future and where this is going, and how the equine industry as a whole is changing. And it's not like it was 20 years ago. So we've got to adapt to that.
Right. I think in New England, anyway, we see a lot of the academy classes. I believe it was started by a couple of the New England farms at the shows.
Right.
You travel out west and some of the shows out there. Are you seeing it through your travels taking on?
Not as much in the West. And to me, that's, I think, hindering the West. There's a lot of equine activity on the West Coast, but there's not as many people teaching. But you go again to New England, the Carolinas has an incredibly strong area, Kentucky, of course, and that is the lifeblood. I mean,
Right.
I think we would be in bad shape right now if it weren't for the riding programs, the academy programs. They're being very innovative, different ways to get people in. Because again, we're moving further away from an agriculture society. So when we grew up, you
Right.
knew everyone that had a
Right.
horse, or your grandmother, or aunts, uncles, somebody did. But in today's society, we're not seeing that as
Right.
much. So the way we're getting folks these are riding programs, birthday parties at the barns.
Right.
Kids are inviting their friends out, and then they're getting interested. But they've got to have a way to a beginning level. We don't have a lot of the one-day shows that we did when we grew up. So you're learning from academy, and then move from there to the show horses if that's what you want to do. You might just want to trail ride and have them at home, but at least it's an introduction to our horses, our breeds, and the sport of riding. Which
Right.
Today all the technology and kids with their phones, their faces in their phones constantly, it's nice to see them back to nature and with a horse and the family involvement that it provides. And that's what those academy programs are providing.
Now, there's an Academy Finals, I believe, in November-ish or in the
Correct.
fall down in
Correct.
Tennessee.
In
Is it?
Tennessee, in
Is it?
Murfreesboro. Great program. Actually, my daughter competed in that maybe 6-7 years ago. And barns are coming from all over the country, actually, and they do it. They make it just like a World's Championship, what you're
Right.
seeing here in Oklahoma
Right.
City. But again, this is for those academy kids, and it's a big deal for them. They travel with their families, their barn families, and a lot of those riders are going on and going from that and graduating to a show horse.
Now, do they have to qualify at home in an Academy event to go to that show?
Right. They'll just show in academy shows at home on the regional level, and then that takes them there. It's a very easy system. They're not looking to keep people out. It's very
Right.
inclusive, very inviting. And but then they get there and show several times, several different divisions, and it's a big deal. Very nice facility.
Right.
You're in a first-rate facility, and lots of good barns there. And like I
Right,
say, they come
right.
in from several regions. That's the best part. It used to be kind of a southern thing. You're seeing barns coming from Wisconsin, a little from the Midwest.
Now, what about numbers at that show? What do you know what they get for numbers?
I don't off the top of my head know the exact numbers, but there's not a class under 10 entries.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it goes on for a week or how many days?
Like 3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days?
Yeah, it's like a Thursday through Saturday
Yeah.
type deal.
Yeah.
And they're going a couple times a day. And you're talking about saints of the industry, those horses.
Right,
You
right.
know,
Absolutely.
They're being shared by
Yeah.
different riders. They're asked
Yeah.
to go 4, 5, 6 times a day. And they do it with their ears up and their
Right.
head up
Yeah.
and taking care of our kids.
And what do you think about Academy at the regional and this level, having Academy classes?
I don't know at this level. I mean, this to me, the
Yeah.
World's Championships. But I do like incorporating the academy into our regional shows. Again, it gives those folks a little taste of it. Some areas you go and they have like all the academy in the morning, separate from the regular
Right.
session.
Right.
And there's some of that for the safety issues and maybe the flow of the show. But ideally, you want those people there to be involved and see what they can aspire to, see what a real show
Right.
horse looks like,
Right.
what these kids are stepping up to. And again, it gets them excited, it gets them involved, gets them something to work towards. So I do think incorporating those classes into a regular show is a great way to go with that program.
And slightly different topic, AMHA is talking about changing the makeup of the regional and also board of director makeup into 3 different regions in North America, East Coast, Midwest, and West Coast. I'm sure you're aware of it all.
Right.
What is here that they're possibly also thinking about bringing back East Coast Nationals, Midwest, West Coast Nationals? I think it's an interesting concept. What do you think?
Yeah, it is an interesting concept. I haven't given it a lot of thought yet, but I think anytime that you can give areas something, again, to shoot for,
Right.
it helps. It starts the trickle-up effect, actually.
Right.
You start locally, again, the one day, the county fair shows. You work up to the mid-level shows in the regions. So if you do have championships from regions at different parts, and then they come together here for the finale, I think that's a wonderful idea. Anytime you can give people something to aspire to,
Right.
and it's a competition, it's a sport, and sometimes you need those because not everybody's going to win out here, nor should they.
Right.
This should be the best of the best, but yet there's certainly a pecking order and a place to win along the way, and I think that'll help that greatly.
So for the folks who don't know you, and have not been introduced to you.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers about how you got into the horse business. And I know, and you're in New England. I think you have maybe a small training farm or a training farm.
At home, I grew up in Kentucky.
Okay.
My grandfather was a amateur owner trainer. He was a railroad man, trained at home. I grew up. My uncle had a big boarding barn. There were a bunch of his kids. We had all different types of horses. I gravitated to the American Saddlebred, worked for a few famous trainers there in Kentucky, and had a great opportunity there. Went through college working and training horses the whole time, and actually subscribed to Saddle Horse Report. And about 6 months before graduation, I saw a posting for a job and majored in journalism, and had never thought about it before. All I ever thought about was working horses. And I went down and met with David Howard, the publisher, and we just struck it off like that. And I graduated on Sunday, went to work on Monday, and I've been there ever since. That was in '83, and then I moved to New England 20 years ago. I married a Morgan person, Raylan Mercer, who grew up riding and showing Morgans. And so we have a barn at home in Franklin, Massachusetts, and actually have Morgans, Saddlebreds, and Hackneys. At any one time, we can have all the above or one or two, but we show at home, and our daughter, Allie, and it's just been a great family affair for us, and a great escape, even though it's what I do all day long in my office. It's great to go to that barn at night and just be one-on-one with the horses and have some family time. And you know, the best thing about it is it's never been a day of work in my life. It feels like, you know, it just doesn't feel like work.
Absolutely.
There's so much family, and I mean, the deadlines are crazy, especially with us being a weekly. But when you get to spend your life with people and horses like this, I couldn't think of anything better.
If we would like to play some ads with you guys for Oklahoma, who do we contact? What's the deadline?
Myself, Christy Womack, Diana Davidson at home, Kelsey Irvine is also on our team. So we're doing it. Deadline will be October 30th. We, you know, we usually we're a weekly, but with just the size of this, it'll take an extra week. So we're on a 2-week schedule. But going to have great in-depth coverage, a lot of sidebars, some different the stories behind the stories, as we like to call them. So we'll have great class-by-class coverage. But again, the stories behind the stories are the ones I really like to dig into and bring that to the readers who don't have the opportunity to be here. So
and when do I need to start haunting my mailbox for that?
I would say the first week in November, and be sure it's going to be a big package. So looking forward to everybody getting that copy.
Great.
All right, Shane.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the time.
Thank
you.
you.
For the invite.